Since the 1990s, there has been a magical number etched into our collective consciousness, one that has become the holy grail of the American dream and the middle class: $100,000 a year. This figure is sold to us by our families, our teachers, and our culture as the finish line of financial freedom, the mystical threshold where all worries evaporate. We're told that once you reach it, you unlock the white picket fence house, the luxury boat, and finally the freedom to take a deep breath. So in your 20s, you take on student debt, sacrifice your weekends, work late nights in the office, and patiently wait for that day to arrive. And then, it happens. In December 2025, you get the promotion. Your salary hits 6 figures. You pop the champagne and call your family saying, "I made it." But just 6 months later, on a random Tuesday night, you check your bank account and come face to face with a terrifying truth. You felt richer when you were making $60,000 a year. More debt, less free time, higher stress, and a savings account that's actually shrinking. You're not crazy. You're the victim of a complex mathematical phenomenon called the middle class squeeze and the Henry trap: high earner, not rich yet. My name is Robby, and I spend an unhealthy amount of time thinking about the financial lies we tell ourselves just so we can sleep at night. Today, we're going to perform a forensic autopsy on the 6-figure salary myth and prove why earning more money often results in less wealth. The first layer of the Henry trap is that our brains are anchored to the economic reality of 20 to 30 years ago. In 1995, earning $100,000 a year placed you firmly in the upper tier of society. That was real rich money. But thanks to inflation, the silent and sneaky killer of wealth, $100,000 in 1995 is equivalent to roughly $215,000 today, which means if you're earning $100,000 today, you're actually earning the equivalent of $48,000 in the 1990s. On paper, you have an executive salary. In the real world, your purchasing power is barely at a survival level. The tragedy is that we're still trying to spend like a 1995 executive, using credit cards to imitate a purchasing power that no longer exists. The dollar is not a unit of value. It's a unit of purchasing power. And that power melts away like an ice cube every second it sits idle in your bank account. Why don't massive raises show up in our bank accounts? The answer lies in a software bug in our brains called Parkinson's Law. Expenses expand to match available income. The moment your income increases, your brain instantly updates its definition of needs. Add to that the ditto effect, also known as the Diderot effect. Just like the French philosopher Denis Diderot, when you buy a new scarlet robe, a Tesla, or a luxury watch, everything you already own suddenly looks cheap and inadequate. One upgrade triggers a chain reaction of consumption. You renovate the kitchen, then the floors look outdated, then the living room feels old. Before you know it, you're trapped in a spending spiral of tens of thousands of dollars you never planned for. Your possessions start owning you. The heaviest burden Henrys carry is the obligation to perform society's definition of success. I call this the conformity tax. Once you earn $100,000, you can't drive that 2012 Honda Civic anymore. For your director image, you're expected to drive a Tesla or a BMW. You can't live in a modest apartment. You must buy the big house in the good school district, stretching your debt-to-income ratio to its absolute limit. $60,000 earner knows they're not rich and lives accordingly, cooks at home, keeps overhead low, and can save $500 a month. This person is a high-margin business, $120,000 earner. Buys a $600,000 house the bank approves, pays $4,500 a month in mortgage and taxes alone, and becomes a bloated, inefficient corporation headed toward bankruptcy. They look rich, but they're actually house poor, high cash flow, zero profit margin. The real robbery happens in the tax code. If you're poor, The government gives you subsidies and tax credits. If you're very rich, you exploit legal loopholes. But the middle class? You are the system's cash cow. When your salary increases from $75,000 to $100,000, you don't just pay more taxes. You enter a higher tax bracket and lose benefits like student loan interest deductions and child care subsidies. Mathematically, you can work harder and end up $8,000 poorer. In today's economy, earning $100,000 is rarely a simple 9-to-5 job. It comes with Slack messages at 8 p.m. and a soul-crushing level of availability. When you're stressed and time poor, you spend money to solve problems. Too tired to cook? You order DoorDash, paying $60 for a $10 meal. These are decompression expenses. Premiums you pay to numb the pain of earning your salary. Take James. He earns $31 an hour gross, but after taxes, commuting costs, and stress-induced spending, his real hourly wage drops to $4. The burger joint teenager actually earns more because when his shift ends, the stress stays there. James rents his job space inside his brain. Meet Derek. 3 years ago, he got promoted and his salary jumped to $128,000, a massive 39% increase. Today, he earns $141,000, yet has less money in his bank account than before the promotion. Why? Because Derek didn't get richer. He just became more expensive. Each small upgrade, better apartment, luxury gym, new car, carries a lifestyle inflation hourly rate. That new apartment costing an extra $800 a month requires Derek to work 228 additional hours per year, 6 full work weeks, just to sleep there. He traded freedom for a luxury prison cell. Another reason Henrys can't save is that spending has been made painless. Pulling 5 $100 bills out of your wallet hurts. That's your brain protecting resources. But tapping a card or waving Apple Pay triggers no pain at all. Add vampire costs, Netflix, Spotify, the luxury gym you never visit, forgotten cloud subscriptions. They're designed to stay below your awareness threshold, but together, they drain $600 a month, a full vacation every year, gone. For Henrys, the ultimate status symbol is the new car. But a car is never an asset. It's a rapidly depreciating liability. The average new car payment in America is $800. If a 25-year-old invested that $800 into an S&P 500 index fund instead, they'd have $2.7 million at age 65. That luxury SUV doesn't cost $50,000. It costs your future freedom. You're not driving a Ford Explorer. You're driving your retirement dreams. If I make $150,000, I'll be happy. That's the arrival fallacy. Your brain adapts within 3 to 6 months. The BMW feels amazing for 3 weeks, then it's just a metal box you commute in. To feel the dopamine again, you need a bigger house, a pricier watch. It's a treadmill with no finish line. All this luxury infrastructure locks you into your job with golden handcuffs. A $60,000 earner with low expenses can quit tomorrow. A $120,000 earner with massive debt is trapped, dependent on the next paycheck. Real millionaires are like Patricia, drives a 12-year-old Honda, brings lunch from home, and no one knows she has a 7-figure portfolio. Marcus drives a BMW and lives on credit. True wealth is the luxury you don't buy. This requires a radical psychological shift. Divorce your ego from your income. The invisible raise route raises directly into investments. If you never see it, you won't spend it. The 50% rule. Allocate at least half of every raise to investments. Manufacture scarcity. Feeling cash poor is a firewall against dumb spending. Convert spending into time. Ask how many hours of life a purchase costs. Stealth wealth. Keep the old car. Stay in the old neighborhood. Refuse to perform success. In 2025, the real flex isn't the luxury car. It's being able to lose your job and not panic for 2 years. Be the CEO of your life. Run it like a profitable business, not a luxury brand with no earnings. If this made you realize you're on a treadmill, share it with a newly promoted friend before they sign that car loan. Thanks for listening. See you next time.